from Bristol and Norfolk, Mr. Feeney.
Thank you, Madam President. And thank you to the members and the previous speakers. This is a long time coming. There's no doubt about it. I want to thank particularly the gentleman from Quincy, the author of the underlying piece of legislation here, for not only seeing that the problem existed, for seeking a solution, but for leading and pushing us and pushing other legislators in this building and creating awareness around this problem. This became and remains a priority for me this session. It was a priority for me last session. And the fact that we're here today doing this bill, I think we owe an enormous amount of gratitude, and it's tough to maintain our Senate decorum and not thank him directly in my remarks, but the gentleman from Quincy, I am so proud to have partnered with him in this important work. He has led with empathy and compassion for those who have told their stories, and I think that's what drives good public policy on a regular basis here in the Senate. Also, the gentleman from Westfield, the previous speaker, the chair of the Judiciary, for working with all of us on this issue, to Chair Rodericks, and of course our Senate President. I am thrilled, although it pains me that we even have to deal with this, but I am thrilled that we are here sending a message and showing the residents of the Commonwealth that we will no longer stand by as people are victimized and abused. Yeah, it's technology, and maybe the framers of our statutes years ago did not anticipate this, but it exists. And make no mistake about it, it is emotional and sexual abuse, and we're taking steps here today to send a message that we hear you. The previous speakers mentioned that there is a lot behind legislation like this, trying to figure out how to tailor this so that it passes constitutional muster, so that it lines up correctly with our statutes. But let's not get bogged down in the nitty-gritty or the details without first understanding why we are doing this and why we are empowered to do so by our constituents. I will tell you firsthand, and I know many of you all, many of our colleagues here in the Senate and the House have experienced the same thing that I have. Talking to folks in our district and hearing shocking, painful stories. And I could just think of, right now, I'm thinking of 3 or 4 in my own district that I've talked to in the last 2 years on this issue. And the fact that they had the courage to speak to their senator about something so personal is amazing to me. But it's also the way that government should work. That by them telling their stories and us responding by making a difference is what we should be doing. And without each of them, certainly in my district, raising this issue, and throughout all of your districts, we would not be here today. We would not be here doing this bill. I was struck thinking about each of them as I was coming in this morning and thinking about the importance of this bill. Each of their journeys and their stories are certainly unique. They all have different circumstances. There's all different, nuances involved in their own stories. But there is a shocking commonality among each of them and the stories that they have relayed to me, and I know to many of us. When you think about what they have been through, I know some of them are with us in the gallery today. Think about that pit in your stomach that you would feel. Think about that pit in your stomach when you find out that images were shared of you, whether it's on a website or with others that became public that were never meant to do so. Think about that pit that you feel in your stomach. And imagine going through that and feeling that pain, embarrassment, helplessness, shame. And then to say, you know what, I'm going to go and seek justice, only to be told by law enforcement, hey, I'm sorry, but you lack the legal recourse here because Massachusetts doesn't have a statute against this. It's not illegal to do this in Massachusetts. And then you take all of those feelings of embarrassment, pain, and shame, and everything you experience, and as the gentleman from Quincy talked about, having to go and talk to your family about this, and friends and co-workers, and to think about all of the ramifications. I spoke with one person in my district who's a professional, and she was worried about what it would mean for her career. And to think about all that and say, I'm all alone in this. I have no recourse. Nobody is going to go and seek justice for me. By taking these steps today to update our general laws, we can now say definitively to these brave individuals that they are heard, that we've listened to them. To Kelsey from my district, who brought this to my awareness, to the Berner family and the Haggerty family, who have been advocates even in a time of pain. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The sharing of explicit images of another human being without their consent is abuse. It is abuse. It is morally reprehensible. It is ethically wrong. But with the action that we take today, it'll finally also be criminal. The stories that each of the survivors throughout the Commonwealth have shared, the pain that you have endured, the courage that you have shown, has led to a soon-to-be law that will protect others and deliver justice. Imagine that. Imagine at your lowest point, that despair that you feel, the absolute humiliation, the fact that you even question, how could this happen to me? Because you've had the courage to not only accept that it happened, but to transcend it and to use it for good, is why we're here today. And through your actions and the actions of legislators, including the gentleman from Quincy who was led on this, because of all those actions, we won't have to hear those stories anymore, because justice will be delivered. Justice will be delivered. And I could think of no more important thing that we do in the Massachusetts Senate than that. I hope this bill is adopted today. I hope it passes unanimously. And I hope that we can send a message to all those that were brave to come forward and those that may not have come forward but have felt that pain in their heart. I hope that we send a message to them that they've been heard and that we're taking an action to protect people going forward. Thank you, Madam President.